Hello and welcome everybody to the Yard Red Festival. It's going to be a loser bracket game once again. It's going to be HEHE United versus Denial Esports in only a best of one series, unfortunately. But well, that's what the loser bracket is all about. If you drop down from the winner bracket, you're gonna have a slightly harder time. HEHE, of course, they've already won against 3 opponents at least in the lower bracket, so they're the lower bracket champions for the time being. But can they win versus Denial as well? Will remain to be seen. We're of course HeflaTV, the English coverage for you. I am Coucher and I am joined by Mike Loris, man. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. If I'm reading this correctly, then I believe the winner of this goes up to face against the Hellraisers, and then the winner of that goes to face up against Power Rangers. I'm not exactly sure if that's correct, but it seems like that is more or less how it's going to flow. And we have ourselves a draft this game. It is going to be HeHe first picking up their Ogre Magi, and if I recall correctly, they had a very skilled Ogre Magi player who has, number manipulation on his side.
Yeah, it's just all about the skill, all about the practice with that hero pretty much. I mean, I think yes, they were pretty lucky with the Ogre, I guess. And the second pick will be the Viper for themselves, so just a tanky core. Against Skyriff Mage is pretty nice as well, just because, first of all, you're gonna have the corrosive skin bugged Skyriff Mage himself. Plus, just corrosive skin, extra magic resistance as well against the Mystic Flare. But wow, Denial Beastmaster, second pick.
Yeah, we have been seeing Beastmaster very highly prioritized from Denial as of late. Having that roar to open things up is actually incredibly useful. Like, there are heroes that can do stuff similar to that, i.e. Ogre Magi with the Fire Blast, but I mean, roar is just fantastic. I believe the build for Denial, their preferred build, is to get boots, obviously, then you get an urn, and then you get a fast gem. And then you just try to completely dominate the map. And so far, it has been working for them from what I've seen. So yeah, they have been first picking Beastmaster quite often. I believe they are one of the few teams, if not the only team, in that actually do that.
Oh, I can't remember which team used it as well, but I think I've seen like one other team, but really that hero has been forgotten for so damn long. Although the Hawk, especially now that the Call of the Wild, I think it's called, got changed, so you can have two Hawks. They're not gonna overlap for too long, but it's still nice. And the Boar, of course, the slow is actually pretty strong, especially if you're dealing with magic immune units, because the Boar slow goes through it. So up against just any melee cores, it can be just excellent as well. And overall, I'd like to see more of just such heroes. I mean, the ultimate is really strong, especially if you can get the pushback effect onto multiple heroes as well if you target the correct one. So we'll see how Denial can just put it to use.
Yeah, especially when you're setting up for a Scarith Mage ultimate. Like, usually it's Beastmaster, we're going to be ganking around with the Roar, and we're going to try to kill people after that. But with a Scarith Mage on your team, the odds of you not getting that kill are very, very slim, unless there's like Force Staff intervention or something like that. But that's not going to happen until much later. So Denial, they have a very strong ganking lineup as their openers. And HeHe, well, they're going to take out the Faceless Void and the Lycan. Certainly very threatening heroes. I don't really know if they fit completely with the Beastmaster, but regardless, these heroes do get impacted quite a bit from the additional attack speed provided by Inner Beast. And if you could eliminate that synergy, then, well, HeHe are going to be a little more happy about that. As they pick up their Mirana, HeHe's lineup, they're still not going in any particular direction, still remaining pretty open.
I would have loved to see Ogre Magi and the Beastmaster on the same side, but they could still go for just some form of aura stacking, like Vengeful Spirit, maybe even a Luna for themselves. We'll see. And Mirana, well, like I said, just that hero is all in all a pretty decent one. Denial, oh, a Venomancer pick. So I guess just mid game pushing and just kind of death balling maybe for them.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty good plan. I mean, Beastmaster, he doesn't have the most direct form of pushing. Like, he can actually help out in pushes and make pushes happen, but you really need someone else to provide the bulk of the damage. And when you're talking about that, then Venomancer gets to be really, really good. So maybe that's going to be their plan. Just group up and push. And HeHe, they have kind of okay ways of starting those fights, but certainly they need something else. They need heroes that pick up Blink Daggers right now, because if they don't have that, then it's just going to be Denial kiting them to hell and back.
I mean, they do need an offlaner, so something like a Tide Hunter could be possible for them at the moment. It's still in the pool, not picked up, a little bit surprisingly so, but it's a hero that can go for Blink. Even Centaur is available if they want to go for that instead. Of course, Venomancer is pretty decent in just trying to deal with the Blink heroes. Just set down your Plague Wards everywhere and hope that they just find the target before he blinks in and suddenly Blink disabled.
And it usually will work out pretty well, just because it's hard to play around that. If you have your tunnel vision. You're like, okay, let's get a blink initiation. Then you're gonna be like, okay, well, we blink in and then we stomp, and then I haven't blinked in because there's a random freaking plague ward here, and it works out generally to be like that. Like even in pro games where it sounds like a kind of scrub thing to happen, but it happens a lot more often than you would think. As HEHE, they pick up their third agility hero. It is going to be a Slark. That is a hero that could certainly start the fights. But as far as heroes that you want to initiate with the Roar, Slark is going to be on top. If you catch him by surprise with the long range ultimate of the Beastmaster, follow up with the flare of the Scarith Mage, there's nothing that the Slark can do about that. He's very soft and he's very slippery, but he can't actually be slippery if he's completely stunned.
Well, his Dark Pact will be key here, and we might even see him just maxing out Dark Pact first, just to get the lower cooldown of it, just to make absolutely sure that you can shrug everything off. Of course, so far, Denial, I guess the Silence from Ancient Seal plus Primal Roar from Beastmaster are going to be the key things against Slark. So, what do you think the Slark's item build should be? I mean, are there certain items he should go for here to just try to deal with it, or just go for like Eye of Skadi, tank up, just to make sure that you won't get bursted in one go?
Yeah, I think for HEHE, it is going to be mostly in the mid game where they're going to want to hit their stride. Kind of the same thing from Denial. And for Slark, going for something. I mean, Blink Dagger is fine on the hero. In this game, I don't think it's going to be that much worse or better, but definitely going for stats. You can't skip on the stats as Slark. So going for a Shadow Blade is probably not the best idea. Going for drums, power treads, one of those types of builds seems to be the best. Although now Denial pick up a Bristleback. This is going to be a very deadly ball of heroes from Denial. I believe their 3 cores already are all selected. So this is going to be a very brawl-heavy team. And when you're talking about Bristleback and Beastmaster working together, that's extremely dangerous.
Oh, it most certainly is. I mean, Bristleback, all in all, it's so hard to deal with that hero unless you shut him down from the get-go almost. If he already gets like the Vanguard into the Crimson's card, he's already just, of course, not too tanky for you to handle, but it just gets so much harder, and you can't really focus him in the fights because you would have to waste so many spells. But if you leave him free, then the Quill Sprays will start stacking up, the Goo will start stacking. So it's just damned if you do, damned if you don't. And in that case, how would you prefer they deal with the Bristleback? Do you just focus him straight off, or do you try to ignore him?
I really don't know. It depends on how well the Bristleback does in the early stages. If he gets a lot of farm, then you can't afford to ignore him. But if he doesn't do that well, then ignoring him is probably your best bet. Really, with the Bristleback, there is no good option. It's just a matter of how well do you deal with him in the early stage. And HEHE, though, they do have a good amount of kill potential. I don't quite know if they have enough. It's going to mostly be the arrows that determine the laning stage for HEHE, especially going up against the Bristleback. If those arrows land, setting up for a Slark pounce or Viper follow through or anything like that, then it could be possible that Bristleback just never gets off the ground, and in which case, Denial as a whole will never get off the ground. So the Mirana is going to have to do some heavy lifting within the first couple of minutes, and if she misses all of her arrows, if she's not an impactful hero, then Denial with their free space and the free farm are going to be bringing the heat a lot more than HEHE are going to be able to deal with, I think.
Well, at least for Denial, I mean, I guess Beastmaster is offlane, or do they even run it in the offlane role? I mean, it definitely used to be just the go-to offlaner at some point in the game, but how do you think Denial will lane this?
I think I've seen them put the Beastmaster in the off lanes previously. I'm not entirely sure. There was no Bristleback in that game, so maybe they might want to juggle it around a little bit. They are on the Radiant, so offlane Beastmaster is not quite as good. But as I said before, the goal of the Beastmaster is to just get a gem up and just to take complete map control and gank occasionally. I think the best way for Denial, just looking at the draft, is Veno mid, Bristle top, Beastmaster, Scarith Mage, someone else on the bottom lane, or pick up something like a Lich and then just have dual lanes.
Oh, they themselves went for an Invoker now. And is this just an aggressive tri-lane? Like Slark, Mirana, Ogre, or Slark, or rather Ogre, Mirana, Viper, maybe something like that, and leaving either the Viper or Slark safe?
I'm not too sure. I mean, HEHE have quite a bit of lane flexibility right now. I mean, they could put literally any of their heroes mid lane, literally any single one. Most likely it's going to be an Invoker, though I think actually this game is actually looking pretty good for a Wex Invoker. As good as it is to have Arrow, Fire Blast into a Sunstrike, I don't know, maybe they want to get Wex in order to try to do a little bit of counter pushing to Denial. It's options for the Invoker, and really for HEHE, they have so many middle-of-the-road heroes that they can take this any way they want to. They could try to play this super aggressively, they could try to turtle up, full shields up, and try to take this late. It's really up to Denial to kind of set the pace of the game.
Well, we'll see what they want to go for. If they want to go for some more aggression, well, Abaddon is the pick for them. So I guess it's like Skyref Abaddon supporting Venomancer mid. I just hope Venomancer, if it's mid or whoever is mid really, is gonna start stacking up the Ancients heavily for the Beastmaster and the Bristle Black to just clear them up later. But Denial, I mean, they just can't take this to the late game. At least they shouldn't be aiming at it.
Yeah, their lineup is going to peak at about 35-ish minutes. Maybe 40, they'll still be decently effective, depending on how well they do. But really, it's going to be up to them to, first of all, get a couple of levels from the get-go. Their heroes are not exactly the best laners, so that might be a little bit difficult. But, get a couple of levels, get level 6 on Beastmaster, get level 10-ish on Bristleback, get level 7 on Venomancer, and then start grouping up and start killing things. I think it could work out, and I would say Denial overall are slightly stronger as a team compared to HEHE, but HEHE, I think they have just a lot more options in their draft, and it's a lot easier for them to succeed. Whereas for Denial, it takes a lot of things to go right for them to actually work out.
Well, hopefully there won't be anything to stop us. So, to introduce the lineups as well, for Denial on the Radiant side, Paris, I think it should be Sokshka on the Beastmaster, leaving Choral on the Bristleback, with Fanzi on the Venomancer, Cryo J on the Skyref, and the last one will be fucking Mad on the Abaddon.
And on the HEHE side, Necroman is going to be playing the Invoker with Chipson. On the support Mirana, Bambo is going to be playing the Slark. Oh no, that bodes ill for HEHE. Hawa is going to be on the Viper, and that leaves Nihis on the Ogre Magi. They're going to all be running down to the south, and if it does result in a level 1 engagement, I think HEHE have a slightly stronger edge right now, but I don't think they're actually going to find anyone unless a random arrow is thrown and it connects. The odds of that happening are very, very slim, and everyone's going to back off. But Sexy Bambo on the Slark, man. I mean, it's kind of a suicidal player to begin with. His Slark play gets a little bit fast and loose.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to restart the stream just in case, because when I swapped from the draft into this game, suddenly frames started dropping left and right. So I'm just gonna restart the stream fast, guys. Sorry for it, but it has to be done. There's no way around this. So we're gonna be back in just a second, and hopefully it will fix things.
I don't think it's up, so I don't think you're apologizing to anyone right now.
Oh, really? That bad?
I mean, I don't see anything. I refreshed it and it's just not working.
I don't know. I started it again. I don't know. Maybe it's gonna fix it. It's so hard to even tell with XSplit. I mean, supposedly with XSplit it's gonna be fine, and it's not gonna disconnect the stream at least. But when I'm also locally recording, it's just either locally recording. It says it's live, frames X amount, recording X amount, but it's not doing it at the same time. They're just flashing, and I can't understand which is which, and just see at the numbers.
Here, tell you what, I'll start locally recording, so you don't have to worry about that shit.
Okay, man, sounds good. Sounds good if you can do that. But I think I'm just dropping frames anyway, so it's kind of freaking screwed. So I guess we're just gonna go for it. It's a best of one. There's no point for us to even switch streams, to be honest, at this point, since the game is already started. So we're just gonna keep on going, and I don't know, hope for the best, I guess.
All right, well, my recording's running, and in the meantime, nothing has happened, but stuff is going to happen up on top lane. Paris is going to take a Fire Blast, a little bit of body blocking as well, but fucking Mad does teleport in at the nick of time, save the Beastmaster. Unfortunately, the timing for HEHE was just slightly off. Chipson threw the arrow, and it was kind of point blank, but it hit onto a creep. I was doing very well. The Invoker's doing decently as well, so HEHE should be pretty happy with how they're laning right now, but their heroes are just overall stronger at laning, so this advantage in laning should be expected.
Yeah, well, I'm a little bit surprised that no kill still. I guess the lanes aren't all that aggressive anyway, especially with Abaddon roaming around for the side of Denial, just helping out wherever it's necessary. And oh, we have a pause. He disconnect coming out. At least he himself paused, so he's probably just gonna do a fast auto restart or something. And well, I guess nobody's gonna hear it at the moment. But I went live on Twitch anyway, just in case, because it was only dropping frames. So screw this, man. It was out of our hands.
Okay, so should I keep recording or what?
Oh yeah, you can keep recording just in case, although I'm gonna record as well. So right. I don't know. The draft will be missing anyway. Recording. The draft will be missing. I mean, doesn't matter if you or I record anymore. So you can stop if you want, but for safety, I guess you can keep it running if it doesn't really disturb you.
Yeah, that's fine. We will have a recording. That is guaranteed. If the stream drops, that's fine. But the VODs will be forever, and they will not be lost. But we're good. So it looks like we're not going to resume just yet. But anyway, HEHE they do have a stronger laning start, and it is going to very slightly benefit them. Really, Denial just need a little bit of experience here and there. Their Beastmaster is level 4, which is actually remarkably good for 3 minutes into the game. Once he gets level 6, he gets a couple points and the Hawk up. He's going to look to roam around. The only problem is that Scarith Mage kind of needs to be a level 6 at that point as well, and that's not really happening. So Denial, their levels are slowly but surely starting to come up. It's going to be quite a long time before they actually make any sort of plays, but when they do start making plays, then HEHE are going to be scrambling to make any sort of response, as their Ogre and Mirana have done pretty much nothing this game.
It's a little bit surprising as well. It's a combo that you would think that they're going to just start roaming around or never stop really roaming, just go for non-stop aggression. And thanks to them not roaming and really not getting anything done, they haven't even pulled all that much. They're still level 1, about to hit level 2, but struggling a little bit. Of course, fucking Matt on the Abaddon, he's been kind of a nomad, just roaming around from top to bottom almost. No stacks, so actually never mind, a double stack in the big camp. Definitely Denial can farm up stacks rather fast with just the Beastmaster when he has the Wild Axes at level 3 or maybe 4 even. Plus Bristleback with the Quill Sprays.
Yeah, or even if they really want to, just put the Venomancer there, lay a couple of Plague Wards down, throw a Gale to slow them, and then just have those Plague Wards slowly chip away at those creeps. And overall, just options for Denial. And I think the stacks are going to be a lot more important in this game than in any other, just because, as we said, they don't really have the best late game, so they are going to want to be super aggressive in the mid game. Having a jump of golden experience like that, especially for a low-level hero like Abaddon, is going to be so crucial. And honestly, Abaddon's not really doing anything anyway, so you might as well be stacking. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time.
Oh man, it's it's hard for an Abaddon. Oh, top lane Paris gonna get slowed down by the Ignite. But Arrow not even attempted from Chip Sign. So I'm not too sure. I mean, this Mirana, I would have expected more of her. And you in the draft mentioned as well that he needs to be just landing the arrows for things to work out. But he's not even attempting them.
Yeah, there are really no angles. You have to worry about random boars being summoned and random hawks taking the arrow for you. It's a hard arrow for sure to land on Mirana, and there's a decent amount of setup with the Fire Blast, but that's not really the best right now. So HEHE kind of put themselves in the situation just by drafting this hero. Honestly, I think they could have gotten away with pretty much anything else. Vengeful Spirit maybe would have been just as useful, if not more so at this stage. Obviously, having Leap and Moonlight Shadow down the line is going to be very useful, but we're not going to see the impacts of that until those levels obviously come up, and that's still a little bit far away. They're going to rotate mid, and Invoker, he can, I guess, help out with his Venomancer, but they can't get this kill unless an arrow lands. And they're not going to throw an arrow unless... maybe they are.
Well, they are, but it's just completely missed. Nothing for them to do at the moment. But one thing is that both offlaners are level 5 already, so in that regard, they're doing pretty well. Sexy Memo, pretty damn low on health as well. But Cryo, don't think he can get in range without Sexy Memo noticing somehow. But all he needs is that level 6, get the Shadow Dance available. He's maxed out Pounce so far as well. Of course, that's going to mean that his Dark Pact is not as reliable for him to just use or escape the stuns or whatnot. But still, 5.5 minutes in, no first blood yet.
Alright, so we're just going to stay the course right now. I think this is going to be perfectly fine for Denial, as they honestly couldn't have gotten any first bloods unless something miraculous happened. The fact that nothing is happening is going to be very pleasing for them to see. HEHE could have been making things happen, and Cryo both taking quite a bit of damage. He will pounce out of there, living at 50 HP. Stout shield value right there. He will survive for now, and he's not quite yet at that level 6 mark. He's going to have to base. I feel like every single time a Slark gets to level 5, he drops down to below 100 HP.
Maybe, man. You just get a little bit greedy, trying to go for the XP or whatever you can, really. Of course, at the moment, Scarif Mage, had he just had like 1, maybe 2 extra levels for the Arcane Bolt to have the lower cooldown, would have been a kill there. But no first blood quite yet. Paris, of course, he's gonna hit level 6 as well, gets it now on the Brewmaster. Or the Beastmaster, rather. It already has the Urn of Shadows as well. Would have thought maybe just go for Soul Ring first, just to ensure you have enough mana for everything. Because your mana pool isn't all that great, to be honest.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit difficult to keep that up, but now that he has his level 6, he could just at least go for something. I mean, previously he would have pretty much no options as far as things that he can do. Now he has his level 3 axes, has a little bit of vision with the Hawk, and a gem should be soon to come for Paris. So he's going to make his rotations, first of all, down to the bottom lane. He sees the Slark, and Slark, not quite yet at that level 6 mark, is going to be a little bit hard to kill, but certainly viable. Paris is instead head to the north, where he's seeing Chipsan D-Ward, and he is going to throw the Fire Blast on the fucking Mad. Arrow's going to be chained as well, but they're going to roar onto Chipsan, also pushing back this Ogre Magi, but yeah, it's going to be Mirana to take a fall first. Beastmaster doing quite a bit of damage with those axes and roar. Now it has his first stack of souls, and the next time that happens, in about 70 seconds, it's going to be a little bit easier for him.
Really nice advantage, just getting the first blood like that. Mirana, of course, not the easiest target to go for, has the leap after all. But they got the kill, that's all that matters. Wild axes, they do quite a lot of damage. I mean, they're physical as well. So if you had high armor, I guess it would do a little bit less. But it pierces magic immunity and whatnot as well. That's really all that matters, so you can farm up Ancients, which have not been stacked at all so far. Sexy Bambo though, gonna run into Cryo J. He knew where the Sky of Mage is. He has the Shadow Dance, but he's gonna get silenced up. Don't think they can kill the Slark anyway though. Should be able to just pounce out. Arrow, oh, nearly missing Choral.
Choral wants more. Bambo still dropping pretty low. Will Shadow Dance and bottle up. Getting himself quite a bit of HP. Now going to hide in the corner. Will get himself even more HP. But they do have supports in the area. De-warding right now the Ogre Magi Mirana. But Joral going to run straight into Bambo once again. Bambo has a lot of mana. He will jump out of there as Fucking Mad trying to help his Bristleback friend. He will throw a coil. Bambo dropping very low, but he will not die to this one unless the shield pops, and it will. Joral is going to get the kill. Just took a very long time. Denial up to a 2-0 lead, and really they would be happy if they were at a 0-2 lead at this stage in the game, but they're getting a lot more than I really would have expected around the map. Bambo honestly should not be dying right now.
Oh, he definitely shouldn't. He just went way too aggressive there. That's about the majority of it. No clue why he went that way, but there were some heroes around, so they thought that their supports are going to help out a little bit more. Maybe a few Sunstrikes. Of course, if you can pounce or get the leash on anybody, landing a Sunstrike, not all the most reliable thing. But at least, HWA on the Viper, he's still farming up, going for the straight off mech after the Ring of Aquila and Power Treads. So once they get the mech, they're gonna have their own sustain as well, because at the moment, Denial, they have the Abaddon with the Aphotic Shield and Misconnect. Oh, there's another Primal Roar onto Chipsan, Wild Axes, Negative Urn, and Fancy will just steals the kill.
Come on, Venomancer, you can't do that. Beastmaster earned that kill by finding Chipsan all alone. Level 7 hero versus a level 2 hero. It was not even close, honestly. Beastmaster absolutely annihilated that Mirana, but hey, it's more souls for the Beastmaster, a couple more levels, a little bit more gold in his pocket, and he's going to just stay the course right now. He has enough gold to buy the gem. I think he might slow down and go for Power Treads first, something along those lines. Just a nice item to have in general. Paris now going to run into Nihis, and this is going to be a fight that Ogre, despite the fact that he is several levels down, could actually fight decently, just because he has 7 armor and 720 HP, whereas Beastmaster has slightly more HP, but less armor. So remarkable amounts of survivability from the Ogre, regardless. Paris is not going to be willing to fight that one out, and it's 3-0 advantage for Denial, and still they have yet to really group up and push. Their Bristleback should be going for a Vanguard, and he does have enough gold for that. The Beastmaster has everything he needs. The Venomancer has all the levels he needs as well. It's just a matter of time, and it should be coming soon.
Well, if he gets that, they're just going to be that much tankier, especially if he finishes the Crimson card after the Vanguard as well. In the mid lane though, Fancy farming up or trying to farm up the 4 spirits. Necromon has had the Hand of Midas for I think like 2 minutes on the Evoker, something like that. Has picked up Belt of Strength as well. Might either be Power Treads or maybe just straight off into Necrobook. And oh, Sexy Bambo, no silence from Cryo J. Just got Dark Pact off and pounce away. But not having the best of games at all. At least farm wise, he's not doing that much worse than the Beastmaster is, so that's fine for them. But a Slark, I mean, he needs to snowball, which isn't happening at all. Gonna get silenced up. If you Cane Bolts come through, the Quill Spray starts stacking up. I think he's gonna be able to pounce. Yes, just barely with the Shadow Dance. But man, he's just taking so much harassment every single time he shows his face.
Yeah, but in the meantime, it is he's still getting objectives like up on top lane, where they're going to be taking down a tier 1 tower. This is a trade that Denial are going to try to make for mid. That's not going to happen. Too much pushing power just from the Viper alone. And he's going to draw the first tower of the game right now. The rest of the supports rotating out will be spotted by an Observer Ward of the Radiant. Arrow is going to be thrown. If this lands on anyone, I'll be extremely surprised, and it won't. Even if it did, they have Fucking Mad with their shield, so it wouldn't have even mattered. It wouldn't have resulted in a kill, but they're going to find a fight regardless. Fucking Mad going to get hit with the Fire Blast and a Cold Snap. No Ignite, however, so he will be able to shield himself and walk away. The Ignite goes on to Funzy, as the Plague Ward is actually dropping Necroman pretty damn low. Not really going to be a kill going either way, but it is actually a hood for the Bristleback. I mean, there is quite a bit of magic damage on HEHE's side, so it's a decent item to pick up. And still, Denial haven't really pushed anything yet, which is actually kind of surprising.
It definitely is a little bit. I guess they're maybe waiting for their own mech to come out on the Venomancer if he's even going for one, unless he goes for Hand of Midas. Saving up to 1.8k gold as it is. I mean, I guess you would pick up some mech parts already, although he has 2 iron branches, so I'd expect Headrest and Buckler to be made out of those.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a safe assumption, although I mean, Venomancers can always just say, screw that, we're going to go for an Aghanims or a Blink Dagger and be happy with that. He's only holding a level 1 ultimate, so it's not really the best ultimate in the game, but if you get a Blink Dagger to reposition, or hell, even just repositioning a Gale, is pretty useful. And if you're holding on to 2,000 gold, it's either you straight buy a mech or you're saving for a Blink Dagger, and it seems like Blink Dagger is going to be the purchase. It's a good item on Venomancer, but I think it's not the best first item on Venomancer.
I have to agree with you there. I mean, just having a mech would be so nice. Of course, they are going for a pipe, so I guess they might feel the need to not go for it. Although I still think mech, or really anything, maybe even straight of Aghanims for a Venomancer would be a little bit better. Just get some survivability and a little bit of a bigger mana pool for yourself. But we'll see. Oh, the arrow lands though. Sunstrike to follow, maybe. They have the Viper Strike as well. Should be an easy kill, but there's Paris. Goes for the Primal Roar with the Mystic Flare onto HWA. They get the kill. Nope, the mech is there. He's still alive, man. Corrosive Skin maxed out for the win. And Fancy drops low to the Corrosive Skin and Ignite together. Almost dies, but everybody stays alive miraculously.
That was the combo. That's the combo that Denial are going to be relying on for pretty much the rest of the game in order to get these kills, but it just wasn't enough to kill off the Viper. If you don't 100 to 0 him, he will mech up, and then you have to burn through a whole lot more Corrosive Skin again. Now that he has a Cloak as well, killing off the Viper with that combination on paper should be possible, but it's definitely not going to be happening anytime soon. So Denial, they're going to have to switch focus. They could kill off any other hero with that, as long as they don't go for the Viper, and I think that's pretty much their hand force right now. It looks like Paris is not going to go for the standard Paris Beastmaster build. It's going to be a Hand of Midas. What do you think about this item here?
You know, it can be worth it. Just in Beastmaster late game, I guess you can somewhat to be a physical damage core as well if you need to, just with the extra attack speed or whatnot. But him getting levels is definitely important, just to have all the spells maxed out. I'm not too sure if the Hand of Midas is a wise decision though here, just delaying the game out a little bit. At least Venomancer is going for straight off Aghanims. And all in all, for example, I don't understand why the Bristleback has been this passive as well. I mean, the rest of Denial have been trying to go for something. Why just not have the Bristleback also join the fights?
Yeah, if you have a Bristleback who's playing super passively, then you're just kind of losing a lot of hidden potential there with the hero. As right now with the Hood and the Power Treads, Bristleback is going to be one of your biggest assets if you're Denial. You're on top of your net worth chart, so you might as well be using that for something. And even though Bristleback as super late game hero is pretty good, he's definitely not the best. So he will be in an awkward situation, especially when he's kited by the likes of Cold Snap and Slark, who just gonna literally run circles around him. Bristleback will struggle to find any traction later on. So Denial, it seems like they're gonna completely switch gears and go for this late game play, which, considering the circumstances, isn't the worst idea, but I don't know. I feel like this is just very easily punished by HEHE if they play their cards right. Like, they do have a Necro Book on Invoker. They have the double Forge Spirits. Their pushing can continue on to pretty much any lane where Funzy isn't.
Well, the Midas is finished on the Beastmaster at least now. But the one thing that HEHE is just heavily lacking is support levels. Ogre, only half a level away from level 6, but look at the Mirana. Not even level 4 yet, whereas Denial, both of them are at least level 6. Abaddon level 7 even, Scarf Mage about half a level away from that. So, just... Of course Mirana doesn't need that many levels, but you would want to have the ultimate at least.
Yeah, and that's really because Mirana hasn't been doing anything this game. She's died twice, hasn't set up a single kill for HEHE. In fact, they don't have a single kill at all, which I didn't even realize. For 16 minutes in, they're not even on the board yet. So Mirana, I said that her arrows are going to be dictating the pace of this game. She's landed 0, and so far no kills have been happening for HEHE. So this Mirana is going to be rather useless moving forward. I mean, even if she does land an arrow, to be fair, she is up against an Abaddon, so the arrow probably won't really get that much value, but she's not doing anything right now. Like, literally doing nothing for her team.
Man, she landed one arrow onto the Venomancer mid lane, but just they didn't get the kill from it. Oh, arrow, never mind. Gonna hit the creep instead of fucking Matt there. At least he's attempting them at the moment, although he hasn't thrown out too many in the game overall. At least I haven't seen them. I think he's thrown out like maybe 5, 6 arrows maximum.
Oh no, now he's stuck. Chipson, no.
Oh no, are you kidding me right now? Buy up, buy up. He has 700 gold. Well, he got a bracer at least. And a TP scroll.
Nobody saw that, guys. We're gonna pretend that didn't happen. He thought he was cute jumping over the cliff just to get home a little bit safer, and I think he actually probably saved himself quite a bit of time because now he's back in the base.
That's all you need. Free TP scrolls as well. You can just panic buying, but it's probably one of the better items to buy, really. You're gonna need the TP scrolls anyway at some point in the game.
Yeah, so they're going to be used, which is not wasted gold from the
You
Mirana.
can share them as well if you really need to.
Yeah, when you get to 1. You can't split that stack, I don't think.
Just give them away, all of them.
Okay, yeah, you can do that, I guess.
I'm
Yeah,
not too sure if
get
you
a
can
TP
like
scroll. You
control.
get a TP scroll. Everyone gets a TP scroll.
I'm not too sure if you can just control. Oh, arrow, another one misses. But I'm gonna have to try it out. Just buy multiple TP scrolls and just try to control click on somebody, share them.
No, you can't. It's only tangos. They're going to go for mid. Hawa's going to get slowed down. Primal Roar, Mystic Flare. This is not going to happen, though. Even Ni is absorbing a little bit of that. And now Hawa mech'd up back to half HP. Joral is there with the physical damage, though. That's how you deal with the Viper. Arrow's going to land, but it's going to be too late to save the Viper. Joral going to eat the entirety of a Meteor and Cold Snap and Pounced up. He's going to get shielded, but it's not quite going to be enough. Fucking Mad now in his ultimate. He's going to get restored back up to full HP, but Denial, they're more or less out of juice because they actually don't have any more mana on anyone except for that Abaddon. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. I guess HEHE are going to be okay with that one, but losing your Bristleback right now for Denial is not what you want to have happen.
Oh, most certainly not. I think it's a favorable trade for HEHE in the end. Viper, of course, was a little bit more farmed than the Bristleback, but I think Bristleback has a more important part for Denial to play than the Viper for HEHE. It's just... Well, he's going for a straight off Heaven's Halberd by the looks of it. Maybe S and Y for the Bristleback. Not even finishing up the pipe, and... If he's not finishing up the pipe, I can't say I understand just the building of a hood that much.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, it is a good item on paper, but if you're going to be going for a hood, you might as well be going for a pipe, right? So going for the Sange is definitely a good item, as if you have all the magic resistance in the world, it won't help you if you have no health. So this is a good item. These are good items for a Bristleback, but just kind of picked up at weird timings. The sequencing is very weird for him, but I'm sure eventually it'll all come together and be just fine. In the meantime, we see Paris stalking the top lane. There is a very easy kill in the Mirana and a little bit more difficult kill in the Invoker. And Paris all alone can't really get this kill, so I don't really know what he's planning on doing up here, but will most likely not result into too much. In the meantime, mid, well, Funzy is still here, has an Aghanim Scepter, but for a Venomancer, you expect this tower to be gone by now, honestly. It's still close to full HP. The push from Denial just has never come.
They just can't fight all that well. I mean, they don't have a mech, they don't have a finished pipe or anything. I mean, Abaddon is their only sustain, but he can only do so much, really. So, Venomancer, Aghanim is all well and good, gonna do a lot of damage. But they have the mech, they're gonna go for a pipe probably on the Viper now as well. If they finish both of them, they're just gonna be ridiculously tanky in the fights, just all of them. And Necroman has a level 3 Necrobook as well on the Invoker. So they're getting all the items they need for fights or for pushing whichever they want to go for. Sexy Bambo has been running the Hand of Midas for some time now as well on the Slark. So both offlaners going for similar item builds. But Paris on the Beastmaster, do you think this Belt of Strength will also transition into the Necrobook?
I don't think it will. I mean, Necrobook is usually a good item on Beastmaster, but if you're going for Hand of Midas, you want to take it super late. And if you're going super late, you generally don't want to have your inventory cluttered with Necrobooks. So I don't really know what it should be. If it was Power Treads, he would have picked it up by now, so it does seem like it's going to be a Necrobook. Hell, going for just another Sange on the team into a Halberd or a Sange and Yasha, I think might even be a little bit better than the book in this game.
Well, it might be indeed. I mean, just... I don't know. And Sexy Bambo, wow. He's taking so much damage from just Choral with the right clicks coming in. Sky of Mage, they got the kill onto Chip Sign. Just the Mirana dying. No biggie. Hit this Mirana. Really unfortunately so, but hasn't had any impact at all.
Yeah, she's dying to neutral creeps. Might as well be dying to enemy heroes, because why not? She's not even at level 6 right now, as long as they don't lose the Ogre, who is actually maxed out in Ignite. I don't really like this. It's going to be Hawa to take Gale off to the sidelines. He's completely isolated from the rest of his team. Has an arrow coming in, which will land squarely onto Joral with a multicast and a meteor. They're going to bring this Bristleback very low, very quickly. Fucking Mad, not in range for a coil to help out his buddy. And now they're going to chase down this Abaddon with the Cold Snap is there. It will be buffed up by the Borrowed Time. Now juiced up to full HP. Doesn't have any more mana, but I don't think he's in any more trouble. So he's going to be able to slip away. But the Bristleback does fall, and HEHE, they also have a Slark farming and pushing down the bottom lane. They're pretty much in control of this game, despite being 4 kills down. honestly, they don't need a Mirana right now. They have all the heroes that they need, getting everything else that they could possibly want, and they're going to get a Roshan straight after. What do you think about this Ogre build? I feel like this is just not a good build against Abaddon.
I have to agree with you. Just dispel of the Ignite. I guess if you can get the multicast on Ignite and it connects on like most targets, maybe it's gonna be worth it. At this point though, I just think Fire Blast multicasting it is so much better. In a sense though, I guess the stun duration doesn't increase, but oh, the pounce onto Fancy, the arrow to follow up as well, perfectly done. And Moonlight Shadow used just in case as well. Invoker picks up the Aegis for himself, Fancy. Gonna be taken out. Excellent change, get the Aegis, get the kill, and 6MMO might be looking for more, or oh no! The Moonlight Shadows kicked in just as Soxka just wanted to go for the Primal Roar.
Well, Bambo is going to survive for a little while longer, although Denial seem to want to go back in on this one. I don't really know if this is the best thing for them. Fucking Mad is going to try to get in the way of Bambo. That's not going to happen. He's going to pounce his way out. Here comes the Invoker and Viper with quite a large army. Arrows once again going to fly. This time we'll connect on a board. It looks like it was going to hit on the CryoJ, but it doesn't matter because CryoJ is going to die anyway. So I guess, for all intents and purposes, Arrow did land on him. Still, we have the Viper chasing down Fucking Mad. Borrowed Time is going to be activated. But with the poison damage slow, this Abaddon's going to be going nowhere fast. Now Pounce to the floor is going to drop. Slark going to take that one. Another arrow going to be thrown and connecting onto Joral. There's a Sunstrike and a Meteor. That's going to be the death of the pig. HEHE just get 4 kills, plus a Roshan, plus I think a tower thereafter. Denial, they're getting absolutely nothing done right now.
And they're doing everything. And Chipshine, he was saving all the arrows from the early game to this point. I mean, he's been landing like 3 in a row now. Oh, never mind. 1 hit the board, but it was so close to hitting at least 1 hero. Maybe the Skyriff Mage, maybe somebody else. Now though, whoa, a Shadow Blade pickup for Slark. But he's picking up in farm. I mean, he's surpassed the Bristleback by now. And he's gonna just take over the Venomancer's farm as well soon enough.
And this game is very slowly starting to slip away from Denial. This kill score is now even, but holy crap, there's almost a 10k and 10k advantage for HEHE as they're looking for even more and more. Arrows once again going to be thrown. Ron is finally landing some arrows, which is pretty nice, but you know, that time not exactly going to land. Funzy is in the area with the level 2 Venomancer ultimate with an Aghanims that does a crap ton of damage if you could land it on everyone, but everyone's already gone. They're going to defend their mid lane, and with this Venomancer core, Bristleback core, Beastmaster core, they have yet to take a single tower right now. Denial, they're just scrambling to make any sort of defense. Honestly, I think their best shot is if they take a 5-on-5, or like if they try to get a pick off, then take a 5-on-5 fight. Because Primal Roar into Mystic Flare is still a thing. Like, HEHE are not going to be able to withstand that unless it's a Viper. So if they land that, then I could see Denial getting right back into this game with a couple more pickoffs. But the longer they let this game drag on, the more Hand of Midas value HEHE are going to get. And we do see a Slark with a Shadow Blade and a Gem. So he's going to be wandering all over the place and pretty much doing Bambo things.
What do you think, by the way, of Hava not finishing off the pipe either, going for an Aghanim Scepter next now? Up against Aghanim's Venomancer and just Skyriff Mage, I would for sure finish up the pipe. I'm not too sure why the Aghanim is going to be better than the pipe.
I don't know. You would have to, I suppose, ask like all the Bristleback as well why Hood did not complete the pipe. CryoJ is going to get annihilated though by Bambo. Now into the Shadow Dance, he's going to decide to back off. It's instead going to be Fucking Mad. Got tagged by an arrow. He will get a little bit of borrowed time, but I think you're going to have to pay that back eventually, Fucking Mad. And there we go. They're going to take that time right back. I mean, Aghanims is, again, a good item on Viper. If you're going to be investing for the Hood, I think generally it's good to get the pipe straight after, but maybe he just wants the extra mana. Like, that could be a thing. He just wants to preserve his mana pool with Aghanims.
Oh, that's true enough though. I mean, I didn't even think about that. I mean, mech mana cost got increased as well, so he might be running a little bit low without the Aghanim Scepter. He might go back for a pipe though. So far, they haven't really ran into the issue of Venomancer Ultimate because he's just not getting them off in fights.
Yeah, that's because HEHE are pretty much the ones to start the fights every single time. The Mystic Flare Roar combo hasn't been used in quite a long while, and if they're not opening the fights with that, then it's always going to be HEHE opening the fights with random arrows, random, you know, Cold Snap or Slark jumping on somebody. It's not the cleanest way to initiate for sure, but it's happening more often than Denial getting their initiations off. And now HEHE, they're going to walk away with the tier 2 tower. It was so easy for them to do. Denial, on paper, they have everything up and ready to fight, but because they didn't fight that one, I think HEHE are going to be feeling pretty comfortable to go for more. And Bambo has a double damage rune. He's hunting on the bottom lane. It's going to be for Funzy. He's going to try to go for this one. With the help of the Viper, they will be able to kill off this Venomancer in a hurry. Sunstrike, kaboom! There goes the snake. Arrow's going to fly through. Will split the wickets, won't do anything, but they're going to land a Viper Strike on the Fucking Mad, dropping him pretty low. He will shield himself, still getting dropped to half HP with just 2 right clicks and an ultimate cast from the Viper. He does have an Aghanim, so he's going to feel perfectly happy constantly spamming those out. In the meantime, top lane, we do see Necroman running along with Jorel, just wants to buy enough space and time for the Slark to close in, and there it is with the Necro units now summoned. Necroman dropping pretty low with the Cold Snap. Jorel might get this with the one more Cruel Spray. He will draw the Aegis out. Super greedy play from the Invoker, but he's still alive because of that Aegis. I guess it could be a lot worse. It's still going to be another kill for HEHE, and because of this, they are going to have enough momentum to take it top tier 2.
I mean, they just completely blew this game open a couple of minutes ago already, but it's spiraling so hard. They might get the kill on Chip's High, but it's only a support Mirana. Mystic Flare dodged as well. There's the pounce onto fucking Mad. He gets the photic shield off. He's alive with the burrow time as well. Barry's going for the TP out. He's gonna succeed as well. Or never mind. No, he's not. There's the pounce. Once again lands onto the Abaddon. No ultimate anymore. And they already got the tier 2 top, but they're also gonna get the tier 2 mid now.
This is looking like this game is almost coming to an end as Denial. They have like this kind of late game transition idea, and they have a Bristleback who's pretty powerful, a Venomancer who's on paper pretty powerful as well, but they're not executing at all. This is a pretty classic Denial lineup, I would say, with the highly prioritized Beastmaster with the Venomancer core. But HEHE, they're just walking all over Denial right now. They're just going to walk straight up to the high ground. They probably can't get this tower down, but do they even need to? They're all filthy, filthy rich. Like, there's 1,800 gold on the Ogre Magi. There's 1,900 gold on the Viper after the Aghanim's Hood. Even Mirana is getting some items. And when the enemy Mirana is getting items, if you're Denial, you know you're in trouble.
To be honest, I think HEHE as well, they went with a kind of 5-man strategy ever since they got the mech on Viper. And Denial, they should or usually would have wanted to, I think, mostly focus on pickoffs and then go for a push themselves or something. Just go for a primal roar, Mystic Flare, kill off one, and then go like 5 versus 4 into the rest of the fight. But they focused the Viper in the early fights, and it just proved to be a little bit too tanky. Suddenly, they didn't have any burst, nothing left anymore, and just started losing the fights, and it's just been continuing ever since.
Fucking Mad is going to get tagged with an arrow as he tries to retreat. It's not going to be a super long duration, but he's going to follow up the Fire Blast. It's only a level 2 skill, though, so Fire Blast is more or less just a playstun. But Bambo, in the meantime, is going to jump in the back and assassinate the Skywrath Mage. Just as Bambo does, he's going to easily slip on out of there. Moonlight Shadow's used as well, but it's not going to result into anything. But right now, HEHE are in complete control of the map. With the gem, you would expect that, but really, if Denial leave their base, they're going to be in trouble from a Viper Invoker combo or just a Slark. For Denial, I don't know what they could do left. Venomancer, counter push, and axes is pretty good to defend, but you can only defend one lane effectively at a time, and HEHE, I think they're powerful enough to split their heroes up. They
most likely are. I mean, for example, Slark can easily go to another lane. He's going to be so fast with the Shadow Blade to get into the fight if need be. And the Invoker has the Boots of Travels as well. I mean, has had them for quite some time. Does he have a Sheepstick incoming? Oh, just a Lincoln Sphere instead for Necroman. But still a pretty good item, although I'm not too sure. Just against Primal Roar, there's still like Goo from the Bristleback. It's one of the better spells to remove Lincolns, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Nasal Goo from the Bristleback, you have a random Coil from the Abaddon, or anything that the Skywrath Mage has, I guess Ancient Seal, Arcane Bolt. These are skills that you don't really want to be blocking as Invokers, so, I mean, it's nice against the Roar, and honestly, I think he's far enough ahead to go for this item, and it won't really impact his bank account too much, but still less than ideal item choice, I would say, for the Invoker, but it's only going to matter if it's going to be punished. And it seems like Denial, well, they're going to try to look for an opening to punish, but they can't catch up to anyone. They're now all in the bottom lane. They are going to try to crash this Roshan. Unfortunately for them, it's still almost 2 minutes away, so a little bit of mistime for a push outwards outside of their base. And now HEHE, though they're not mobilized in this area, they can quickly go down there and take, I think, a pretty crushing fight.
They most likely can, and well, they just keep on farming. Eye of Sky, they finished in Sexy Memo, and that just might be the cue for them to go and push out a lane, get some racks. Oh, Choral might be the target. Viper, is he gonna go for the Viper Strike? Not yet. They see them. Arrow will connect onto fucking Mad, and that's the perfect timing to go. No aphotic shield, no nothing. Choral gets slowed down, but there's the Primal Roar onto Viper. He's just way too tanky. Fancy pops his ultimate. Mech comes through. They might even kill off the Viper just to the poison damage if they're not careful. Sexy Memo cleans up from the back though with the haste rune. Gonna go for fucking Mad next. Borrow time. Well, just not gonna be good enough. And Choral, they only want to survive.
And I think this entire game kind of went downhill for Denial. The first time they went for the Viper Roar in the middle lane and Mystic Flared him and couldn't kill him off. Like, after that point, it was like, oh shit, we don't have enough damage to kill off the Viper with this combo. We might as well just change our game plan entirely. And that obviously didn't work out for them. HEHE are going to be progressing in this only best of one series. Denial are now out of the Ardred Festival.
Well, a little bit sad, but they continue their streak in the lower bracket. They only have Compass Gaming or Hellraisers, however you want to call them these days. But they are officially Hellraisers, but some might still know them as Compass Gaming. But whoever wins the game between HEHE and Hellraisers is going to go up against Power Rangers in the consolation, the loser bracket final. So we only have one more best of one best of three, and only a best of 5 left in this Yardred Festival. So we have the top 4 known already. So just been a pretty long time casting this tournament, but it's coming to an end soon. But in any case, guys, I hope you enjoyed the cast. Sorry for some technical difficulties with ESFX and whatnot, switching over to Twitch. But yeah, if you like the cast, be sure to follow us. It's HeflaTV everywhere you can find, pretty much. For the casters, it's at Coucher for me, at Mike Loris for my co-caster. And Mike, any last words?
Not really. HEHE, rather impressive game, even with the Mirana doing absolutely nothing. Necroman on the Invoker and Bambo's Slark just setting the pace of the entire game, and well, it's kind of easy since Denial weren't actually doing anything either, so that helps.
Oh yeah, so guys, this is gonna be it for today. Unfortunately, only a best of one was what we had for you. So we're gonna be back another day with Yardred Festival and join Dota League probably tomorrow already. But for now, guys, just have a good one. Do whatever you're gonna do next. Just enjoy it and see you another time.